Hi everyone, I am MAYAG from the group of Miss ANCHIT with the research title The Impact of Language Learning Strategies to the Language Proficiency of the English Major Students of BACOLOD City College. So I am tasked to discuss to you some of the revision in our paper according on what's the comment and recommendation of the panelists. So I was tasked to discuss to you for the abstract, review of related literature, and for the reliability of data gathering. Abstract is where we put on the statement of the problem, the gathered data, and the result of this. Or in other words, this is where the summarization of our whole research study takes place. So, for the abstract of the study, there is no revision at all since we are still conducting our research and we are not yet done on it.
Hi, my name is JEANNY Jade as TALAVER, and I will be explain to you our introduction of our research title, which is the impact of language learning strategies to the language proficiency of English major in Bacolod City College. So our the introduction rather, must be the one that will explain of the researchers so that the readers can understand what is your point of doing this research. So, um, our previous introduction, we think about it, and mostly we gather information in it on a online or in Google. I'll be honest. We have getting the thoughts and to the Google to research it, but um, it's all it's all in all us. And in our introduction, must it is well explain why we got well explain our point, why language learning strategies and needed to be a language proficiency. So there's no much revision in this because we just need our previous introductions are just needed a paraphrase so that it can be fluent or can be understand well of the readers, because introduction are most important in our in our research paper, because it is included and it is listed why it is listed your point, why you're doing this, we're doing this research, what is the use of what is the impact of the language learning strategies to be a language proficiency. So we must know that language learning strategies are the processes and actions that language learners consciously employ to help them learn or use a language more effectively. So, in the introduction, language learning strategies must is it is a process of and actions that the language learners consciously employ to be to learn or use a language more effectively. So that is our introduction. So we have a 3 paragraph in our introduction, and it is written there that there are proposed Oxford proposed 6 categories in the analysis of LLS. That is a language learning strategist, and that is the memory, cognitive, compensation, metacognitive, affective, and social strategies. So that is the proposed 6 categories of Oxford, and that is be seen to our introduction. So we paraphrase it. So there's a little we paraphrase it so that the readers can pinpoint it or um see it see it first. And the first three are grouped as the direct strategies in the direct learning of the target language, while the three indirect strategies help learners to manage and support their learning without involving the target language directly. So that is Oxford proposed six categories, but the first three is a direct, and the second three is an indirect, and that is according to Yaling Wu, 2008. So it will be seen to our introduction. So I will not further discuss it. So our revision in this introduction are not that we didn't um we didn't change it totally. We just paraphrase each sentence, each paragraph. So because our previous introductions are kind of shaky, and revisions to our we have a revisions from our advisor. So we followed them, and I think that this paraphrasing that we paraphrase these introductions are the best thing to do, so that the introduction can be easily and the readers can understand it well. So that is our introduction. So I hope you understand of what we revise in it. We just revise it and paraphrase it. Thank you.
Hi, good day everyone. I'm Kimberly ANCHIT, and today I will be discussing my part in our study entitled The Impact of Language Learning Strategies to the Language Proficiency of English Major Students at Bacolod City College. This has already been revised as corrected and suggested by our statistician, advisor, grammarian, and the panels. Statement of the problem. This study aimed to determine the impact of language learning strategies to the language proficiency of English major students at Bacolod City College during the school year 2021 to 2022. Specifically, this study sought to answer the following questions. Number 1. What is the profile of the respondents in terms of the following variables? Age, sex, and year level. Number 2. What are the impact of language learning strategies to the language proficiency of English major students at Bacolod City College according to the aforementioned variables? And number 3, what is the level of language skills of English majors of Bacolod City College as assessed by the respondents according to the following areas: listening, reading, speaking, and writing? Number 4, is there a significant difference in the language learning strategies and the language learning skills of English majors in Bacolod City College when they are grouped and compared according to the aforementioned variables? So now, let's go to the hypothesis. In order to answer these specific objectives, the following hypotheses were formulated and tested. Number 1. There is no significant difference on the impact of language learning strategies to the language proficiency of English major students at Bacolod City College when they are grouped and compared according to the aforementioned variables. Number 2, there is no significant difference in the extent of language proficiency of English major students at Bacolod City College when they are grouped and compared according to the aforementioned variables. Number 3, there is no significant difference in the language learning skills of English major students at Bacolod City College when they are grouped and compared according to the aforementioned variables.
Good day, everyone. My name is VILLAMOR from BS English 3C, and I am a part of the group The Impact of Language Learning Strategies to Language Proficiency of English Major Students of Bacolod City College. And this part, I am going to show to you the revision in the part of scope and limitation and significance of the study. Scope and limitation. Generally, the scope of a research paper is followed by its limitation. As a researcher, you have to be careful when you define the scope or the area of your focus. Remember that if you broaden the scope too much, You might not able be to justify to the work, or it might be take a very long time to complete. The following are the scope and limitation from our unrevised research. It includes this following. This study focused on the impact of language learning strategies to language proficiency of students, major in English at Bacolod City College. When were taken as respondents, the researcher will determine the impacts and significant relationship of the language learning strategies to language proficiency of students. This study is limited only to the students majoring in English at Bacolod City College. The data collection will be conducted to 166 students majoring in English through stratified random sampling, who will represent the population. This study will not cover other problems that are not considered as one of the language learning strategies, which has major impact to students' language proficiency, or not in the statement of the problem of this study. The respondents are given same questionnaires to the answer, which is prepared by the researchers. The study would be done through the utilization of questionnaires and Google Forms to the students as a survey and reference. In this research, we only focus to the students of Bacolod City College, yet it is correct, and only to our respondent. In this part, we just only focus to the significant and impact to the language proficiency, and also we only focus to 166 students that are respondent, that and what method we should use to complete the population, and also we have included here the ways on how we utilize our questionnaires, which is not included to the scope and limitation. Next, and this will be the corrected scope and limitation of the study, which is from our revised research. It includes the study focuses on the impact of language learning strategies to language proficiency of students majoring in English at Bacolod City College, which were taken as respondents. The researcher will determine the impact and significant relationship of language learning strategies to language proficiency of students. This study is limited only to the students of major in English at Bacolod City College. Descriptive research design were utilized in this study to determine the impact of language learning strategies to language proficiency of the students major in English at Bacolod City College school year 2021-2022. The data gathered was subjected to SPS with frequency account, paradox of mean on the statistical tool used, further the limits in terms of the following areas: listening, speaking, reading, and writing, and selected variable of age, sex, year level. Other variable that not mentioned to the study is not included. So you see here that we already include the following, which is the areas which we're going to focus with, which is the listening, speaking, reading, and writing, and also the selected variables where we're going to focus is the age, the sex, and the year level. We also includes the descriptive research design, what we're going to utilize in this study.
Good morning, everyone. So, as the continuation of our research study entitled The Impact of Language Learning Strategies to the Language Proficiency of English Major Students of Bacolod City College, we are now down to the significance of the study. But before that, I am JAILA DURAN, and let us know what is the purpose of the significance of the study in their research paper. So, the main purpose of this is to make clear why your study was needed and the specific contribution your research made to furthering academic knowledge in your field. In our previous paper, we only had the school administrators, teachers, students, parents, future researchers. So after the oral defense, Doc Elias, one of the panelists, advised us to add the Dean of Instruction and the researchers itself in the significance of the study. So here is the final revision in this chapter. So for the first one, we have our school administrators. Results of this study will serve as guide to determine the development of students when it comes to language proficiency, and for them to develop every student to excel more and to know what language strategies and communication program they may implement for the student to enhance their communication skills to become globally competitive. So for the second one, we have our Dean of Instruction. This study would be beneficial to the Office of the Dean of Instruction as a reference in addition to the body of knowledge, which is a reliable information and can help them to develop credible source of information. So the third one, we have our teachers. This study would be beneficial to the teachers for them to be able to identify the learning language strategies that are common and effective to students, thus providing learning materials which are suitable and connected to the students' learning strategies to easily cope up with the lessons. We have here our students. The result of this study will allow them the impact of language learning strategies on their language proficiency. In this study, the students can be aware of the major impact of language learning strategies and what strategies are effective to learn and be proficient of a particular language. We have here our parents. The findings of this study will help parents to know the capabilities and attitudes of their children when it comes in learning. The parents will know the importance of learning strategies is vital. They can enhance it with the help of teachers and the school. We have our researchers. This study will give opportunity to the researchers to determine the impact of language learning strategies to the language proficiency of students, which may also help them in their studies. This study will be an instrument to get them a source of knowledge that they need for future references, which may help them navigate to explore and discover reliable source of information. We have our future researchers. This study would be a useful reference to the future researchers who would plan to make any related study about the impact of language learning strategies to the language proficiency of students, because they can get some information here that might be needed in their research, and some of their questions may possibly answered by this research. So that will be all. Thank you so much, and God bless us, everyone.
Hi, good morning everyone. So this is NOELA TIANSAY from BSED Tourism English, and for today's video, I am going to discuss some parts of our research revision during our defense. So here I am assigned to discuss about the definition of terms, the data analysis procedure, and the ethical standards. So let's first start with the definition of terms. So definition of terms, during our defense, the panelists and our advisor, Sir J. Kalang, told us to change our definition of terms because we had a revision in that part, because we did not follow the APA citation, and some of our words are cited in Merriam-Webster, which is incorrect. So, and first, before we revise it, the words that we have in our definition of terms is the English proficiency, the metacognitive, the social strategies, the reading, the writing, and then the social strategies, and then the learners. So what we did, we deleted some parts here and not important. So instead, we put the definition of terms, or the words that we put in our definition of terms is the learners, because we can found it in the statement of the problem. They told us that we should get our words in our definition, or the definition of terms in a statement, or align with our statement of the problem. So what we did, we put the learning, the learners, the learning strategies, the writing and reading, because those words could be found in our statement of the problem. And the next thing that we did is we tried to search or cite the meaning from the author itself, and then the date of publication as well. Then we use the APA citation.
The review of related literature, this is where we put all of the sources, all of the articles and studies we collected and combined to support our study. For the RRL, one of the panelists commented and recommended that we must double check and change some errors on our in-text citation, because they have seen one citation that we used a first name of an author instead of her surname. So we take an action on it and change it into surname. We cited her surname rather than her first name. We also take a look each one of our review of related literature if they are connected with each other, and we make sure that each thought of our RRL are reliable. We also paraphrase to avoid plagiarism.
So, hello everyone, my name is Amor, Amorganda, and I will discuss the changes that we made in our research paper as per instruction to the panels. So, the section that was assigned to me was first the theoretical framework. So, in this section of our research paper are the theories that will support or will show the various perspectives and ideas about the impact of language learning strategies to the language proficiency of students. So, according to the panels, we must include theories that explains language acquisition or any theories that involve learning a language. Hence, we chose the following theories, which are first, the cognitive theory by John Piaget. Second is the inherent theory by Chomsky. Third is the sociocultural theory by Vygotsky. And the last one is the metacognitive theory by John Flavel. And that's all for the theoretical framework. So now, let's proceed to our conceptual framework. So in here, what we did is putting first an introductory of the section so that the reader will have an idea of what is the content of the section. So now, what we have here is the schematic diagram, which shows the relationship of our independent variables, which are the age, sex, and the year level of the student's major in English of Bacolod City College. And also the dependent variables, which are the language learning strategies and the language learning skills. So in the lower portion of the schematic diagram is the corresponding scale of the dependent variable. So these variables will help to determine the impact of language learning strategies to the language proficiency of the students major in English of Bacolod City College. So that's all for the conceptual framework. And now we are down to our to the chapter 2 of our research paper. So which is the methodology. So first, in the research design that we used in our research paper is the descriptive research design on the basis of its objectives to determine the impact of language learning strategies to the language proficiency of students major in English of Bacolod City College. Now, let's proceed to the respondents of the study. So the respondents of the study were the students major in English of Bacolod City College. So to get the total population of the students from second year to fourth year, we had requested Miss Madeline the total population, which is 166 students. So we only focus on the second to fourth year students, as we have concluded that the first year students are generalized and they don't have majoring yet. So yeah, that's it. So to solve for our sample size, we utilize the Lynch et al. Formula with the aid of a Rausoff calculator. So our sample size is 117 students, which will be taken using the stratified random sampling. So that's all for the research design.
The research instrument. The main tool that is used in this study is the researchers' made questionnaire. This survey questionnaire is constructed by the purpose of collecting information that will answer the statement of the problem. The part 1 is the respondent's personal information, which will be treated confidential by the researcher. Part 2 of the questionnaire aims to determine the number 1 statement of the problem of the study, which is the impact of language learning strategies to language proficiency of students majoring in English at BACOLOD City College. With a total of 12 questions, they will be given 4 choices, such as 4 correspond to always, 3 sometimes, 2 often, and 1 never. Part 3 of the questionnaires is composed of 10 statements about the existence of language proficiency. The students must select from the choices that will represent their level of agreement to each of one statement. For the responses to each of the item in the questionnaire, the participants will be given 4 options to choose from: 4 very great extent, 3 great extent, 2 moderate, and 1 low extent.
Validity of the data gathering instrument. According to Middleton 2019, validity refers to how accurately a method measures what it is intended to measure. If research has high validity, that means it produces results that correspond to real properties, characteristics, and variations in the physical or social world. The design of the data gathering instrument has been guided by the criterion that the data should serve the purpose for which they are gathered. Our survey questionnaire is an overall 30 items which has 3 parts. Part 1 is the profile of the respondents. Part 2 is about the impact of language learning strategies to the language proficiency of students, whereas the Part 3 determines the level of language skills of English major students at Bacolod City College in terms of listening, speaking, reading, and writing. The questions were based mainly on the statement of the problem of this study. The adequacy and appropriateness of its content and format was then submitted for critique and refinement by the chosen jury composed of 3 experts in the field. The validation of the instrument will be based on the data that will be collected, since it is the official list taken from the respective juror of the study. The researchers will use these instruments to gather information that will help in determining the answers to the study's main objectives.
For the reliability of data gathering, there is no revision for now since we are not yet done conducting the reliability test, but we are working on it and we are building up each of the procedure and design that we must needed for us to conduct this reliability test.
Hi, so this is JEANNY as TALAVER. So um I will be explain to all of you the data collection procedure to how to get the respondents, or how can you get the total number of our respondents. So after establishing the reliability of the survey questionnaires, the researchers, or we, will immediately request clearance from the dean to administer the said questionnaire to students majoring in English. So, in addition, in addition, the researchers will be sending letter asking for the list of all the students majoring in English in Bacolod City College. So our target respondents are the second year to fourth year students, because we start majoring in second year. So we didn't include the first year students because they are like taking a general, they are not majoring yet. So, and we just need to gather the collection of the respondents just in the school, just the students of the Bacolod City College. So these letters will be noted by our instructor, of course, Dr. Rafael of Possession. So the researchers will use the online platform. So because of this pandemic, and we will not doing a face-to-face class like before, unfortunately. So we will be using the online platform in gathering the information with regard to the study. So we will be giving the questionnaires online because we can't just print it. We can print it on the bond paper because we will not be going to school because there's no student there. And we don't have face-to-face class. So we will just sending some links. We will be sending some links to the students so that they will be respondents, or it will be easy to them to respond. So we will be using the Google Forms. So that is the easy online platform that we think, because it is usually used by most of the researchers, because the last year are higher higher up or higher year to us. They sending us, when we are second year, they sending us the Google Forms, that's include their, and that is their questionnaires. So we respond to them. So that we will be doing also. We will be make a Google Forms, and we will distribute it and allocate the survey questionnaires to our 117 target respondents. So we know that we have a 117 target respondents because that is our reliability, and to ensure immediate retrieval of the field forms and were needed, and to entertain possible queries from subject respondents while filling the questionnaires. So after calculating all the gathered information, after we gathered all the information that we target our target respondents, which is the 117 respondents. So after calculating all the gathered information, the researchers will then compare, analyze, and interpret the data that are being gathered. So after that, we have our 117 target respondents, so we have to analyze it. So that is so hard to do, or maybe hard. So that we need to compare, analyze, and interpret the data. So that is our data collection procedure. So I hope you understand.
Data analysis procedure. The variables that will be measured in this study are the impact of language learning strategies to the language proficiency of English major students at Bacolod City College. The data generated by the survey questionnaires are to be tallied, tabulated, and subjected to statistical analysis and interpretations in accordance to the statement of the problem. In problem number 1, researchers use the frequency and percentage. Problem 2 to 3, researchers make use the mean, and for problem number 4, one-way ANOVA. The preceding sections of this chapter have thus far illustrated the supporting structure to this research work in strict observance of research as a scientific process. As part of this research plan, the perennial issue of validity and reliability of the instrument needed to collect the data have been squarely addressed for the purpose of ensuring the integrity of its subsequent research findings.
Ethical standard. So in ethical standards, we determine the impact of language learning strategies to the language proficiency of students major in English at Bacolod City College. So in this study, we conducted with the consent of Dr. Ophelia Possession and Dr. Alias T. Alias. So in this study, will now have direct benefit to the respondents. So this research will be able to help us to learn more about the impact of language learning strategies to the language proficiency of students major in English at Bacolod City College. So this research also can be a reference to future researchers. So we the researchers secure the personal details of the informed respondents, and we will orient them that their participation is voluntary. So if our respondents choose to take part in this study, they may stop at any time or skip any questions that they do not wish to answer. So our respondents' name will kept on every documents, and then a pseudonym will be used to protect their identity, so respondent's name or other identifying information will not be reported in any publication. So the key linking to their forms will be destroyed after our data analysis is complete. So that's all. I hope you learned something. Thank you so much.